Ah, there you are.
There I am. Yes. Hello. Let me change my settings here. So, we got some more Stage 32 scripts from
I
Draconis.
saw. And
Yeah,
the
he
Lavage
likes it so much. He
Vigilante,
submitted 2 scripts and he wanted to submit 3.
and the Lavigilante guy apparently did a rewrite.
Awesome. Fantastic. I can't wait to read
He
over.
says he cut out the boring bits. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, and by the way,
It's true.
let's go over some stuff here. We got John Lamont, the amazing NF John Lamont, launched a Kickstarter for Angel of Darkness #5, and let's see, where are we at? 5,500.
Yep.
After a day and some change.
Yeah, basically.
Is that? I mean, I guess that's about on par.
For Angel of Darkness, yes.
Ranger, yeah. It was, according to the AI, you're trending at 13.9.
AI.
Well, what is it? The
backer tracker.
Yeah, backer tracker. You're trending at 13.9.
Exactly. I don't believe anything Moldy says.
So, anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that it might top out a little bit above that, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
A couple hours ago, it said 15 still, so
yeah.
Well, I've got something launching in a couple of weeks, so hopefully we'll have time to do some co-promotion.
Well, on Thursday, Palace 4 launches.
You're going to have to get in line, Danny, because Kyler and Preston already have you beat on co-promotions.
Sure. Yeah. I'm still waiting for a variant cover from Whiskey Paint, so I can't do anything.
Oh, there you go. Look, that guy's artwork.
Yeah, I mean, he's done all my variants for this series.
He's really good.
Cygnus Imperium.
Yeah,
the one I brought here. Doing
earlier today, John was commenting that the Whiskey Paint cover was outselling Keith Garvey, and Keith Garvey's definitely the name when it comes to variant covers, because he does a lot of work for Zenoscope. And I think Keith Garvey recently got picked up by Coffin, meaning Lady Death, and
that would explain it.
Yeah, you can't get a bigger name for sexy variant covers than Brian Polito. But yeah, congratulations on another successful launch. We're doing this is the first co-promotion. So I had Whiskey Paint do a triptych cover, which like half of it is going to be Sir Edmund, and that's available on the Palace 4 campaign, and the other half is Jezidro in kind of a nice Frazetta style, and that's going to be available on John's campaign, and hopefully people will back and buy, and who knows? I mean, if not, the images themselves are pretty cool.
Oh man, maybe I should pay, again, timing wise, maybe I should pay an extra and be like, and do one for me with the robot.
There you go.
Or whatever. Unfortunately, the robot doesn't have tits. It's where I went wrong.
Yes. I mean, Lords of Iron 1, I made sure to put some boobs on the robot. Last night I had an interesting idea regarding Lords of Iron, because I keep wanting to sit down and I wrote the first panel of issue 2. But I keep trying to decide, do I want to be on the space station? Do I want to talk about life in the asteroid belt? Because I feel like that is fairly easy to predict. Like, what is life going to be like on a space station? It's going to be kind of grimy and claustrophobic, and it's going to smell bad, and the food's going to suck, and you're not going to see much sun.
We have realistic space stations.
Yeah, exactly. We know what life on a space station looks like now.
Live on year round.
Exactly.
For that very reason, to experiment what it would be like.
What will Earth look like in 150 years or something? That's a tougher challenge, as opposed to what's it going to be like on a space station.
Didn't you kill most of the protagonists in the last issue?
Absolutely, and they're going to stay dead.
The nice thing is that you have a lot of opportunity because of
there's a ton of opportunities. But I was thinking last night about I believe it was Engels who was talking about the final struggle, according to Engels, was going to be communism versus Islam. And I thought, you know what, that might be interesting if I kind of portrayed Earth in those kind of tones.
Well, you also do have a very weirdly Christian protagonist cast in that book.
Well, yeah, except the
And you've
religion I
also
showed.
got, I'm just going to
Yeah,
remind you that you have this because I know it's beat a
sure.
minute.
Well,
You've
okay, but
also
in
got
issue
a
one, I mean,
whole
like
bunch of
it's
alien robots
well,
who
sure.
worship Viviacs or whatever.
We have our villains, but in issue one, the religion I present is a hybrid of Christianity and Islam,
It's true.
and like to me, it would make sense. Like, quite frankly,
Why don't you just use that religion that you already created?
yes,
Less chances of actually pissing somebody off on one side or the other.
I already had somebody come and tell me they were pissed off.
Oh,
Well, I mean, that's going to happen.
Yeah, I had a Christian tell me they were pissed off I was bastardizing their religion, which I thought, I'm like, dude, how many times do you see Christianity presented in sci-fi? Period. Like I'm presenting it, like they're talking about Jesus, and Muhammad and all that.
I actually,
Yeah.
my sister
Mm-hmm.
is writing a novelization of the Bible, and
Mm-hmm.
we actually had some long conversations. And one of the things that we had discussed was like her interpretation of like Revelation, end times, yada yada, was
Yeah.
that the Antichrist character was actually going to be somebody that's going to come along and unite all of the Abrahamic faiths into one. And that
The
was kind of
Antichrist is going to do that.
that was kind of an idea that we were
Okay.
throwing back and forth in his
Okay.
stories, and which is kind of reminded me of that when you had this Christianity, Islam, Muslim hybrid religion, and I
Right.
think it's something possible. I mean, you have a supernatural character show up and it's all of
Yeah.
a sudden saying, "Yeah, I'm one of everything," and you all three of you got
that
it
was
wrong.
brilliantly in Stranger in a Strange Land.
Yeah. I you know what, that
Sorry,
book
that was a touch
influenced
of
me.
Preston. I was pretty sure we did that.
That book influenced me. Way
It's
back in
it's a
college.
really good book.
It
It's
is.
also, got some bits that are like, okay, that's crazy. And then it's got some bits that are like, oh yeah, that is normal human crazy.
Yes. So, all right, let's take a look at some scripts we got. Like I said, Draconis Knox turned in 2. We got The Hollow and Script Letty. I don't know if I want
So
to read.
where are these people? Like, do we have to read all this stuff again? Why is
I
no one
don't
showing
know.
up? Like, what's his
Well,
name showed up twice?
yeah,
He's cool.
yes. Yeah, we also have La Vigilante and Harpies. So
that's like 5 scripts.
Well, no, that's 4, but 2 of them are by Draconis Knox, so maybe we'll come back to that.
We'll do one of his.
Yeah, we'll do
Yeah,
one.
he gets one script.
He gets one script.
Let's do his haunting one, because I remember when he pitched that, I was really interested. That's his local horror skinwalkers thing that I commented would be like, it takes from his pitch, it sounds like it takes place in the woods by some camper running away from skinwalkers. And I'm like, oh, that sounds like a really interesting low budget horror.
Yeah, I saw Abigail. I saw that pitch.
All right, let's see.
There's that recent vampire movie about the vampire who hires her own prey.
There we go.
So I figured it was inspired by that.
All right, here we go. So this is Draconis Knox's script, The Hollow. The Hollow, the Beast Within. Okay. I mean, people put stuff on the title page. I guess I'm a bit of a traditionalist that I don't know that I want stuff on the title page, but here's the logline. In the depths of New Mexico's Gila wilderness, a park ranger's search for a missing hiker becomes a desperate flight for survival against a shape-shifting skinwalker.
So
yes,
that's for a missing hiker, and it's a fight for survival. You might want to put your glasses on.
Yeah. For survival against.
I know, that's why I'm like, first sentence he reads, he makes
what,
2 reading
errors
errors
at the drugstore to get some reading glasses.
Yeah, well, the problem is they don't like interface with the headphones very well.
So put them on a string. You're an adult.
That's all right. Anyway. All right,
you can
so
solve a basic problem on your own. You're an adult.
Who wants to narrate?
I'll narrate.
John go ahead. Go ahead, John.
All right. Exterior, Gila National Forest day. The sun beats down on the Gila National Forest. A vast expanse of rugged terrain, pine trees, and hidden canyons. A lone hiker, Emily, 20s, navigates a narrow trail, her backpack jostling with each step. She wipes sweat from her brow, a determined look on her face.
Almost there. Just a little further.
She rounds a bend in the trail and is met with a breathtaking view, a cascading waterfall surrounded by lush greenery. Emily's face lights up with joy.
Finally.
She sets down her backpack and pulls out her phone, snapping a selfie with the waterfall in the background. A twig snaps behind her. Emily whips around, her smile fading.
Hello? Anyone there?
Silence. She shrugs it off and returns to her phone, but a sense of unease lingers. As she packs up her belongings, a shadow flickers at the edge of the forest. Emily doesn't notice, too engrossed in securing her backpack. Suddenly, a guttural growl echoes through the canyon. Emily freezes, her heart pounding. She spins around, scanning the surrounding trees. A figure emerges from the shadows, tall, gaunt, with glowing red eyes and a grotesque, animalistic face. It moves with an unnatural fluidity, its limbs contorting unnaturally. Emily screams, dropping her phone and scrambling back. The creature lunges, its claws outstretched.
That's a pretty good page 1.
I mean, that's a standard procedural page 1. You did it in 1 page. Congratulations.
There you go.
Exterior, Park Ranger Station Day. Jake Brody, 30s. Any relation to Sheriff Brody? A seasonal park ranger with a rugged charm leans against his patrol truck, sipping coffee. He checks his watch, a hint of impatience in his eyes.
Where the hell is that new guy?
A beat-up Jeep Cherokee pulls into the station parking lot. A young, eager park ranger, Ben, 20s, hops out, a nervous smile on his face.
Sorry I'm late, Ranger Brody. Got lost on the way.
Jake chuckles, a warm smile spreading across his face.
Don't worry about it, Ben. First day jitters. I get it.
He clasps Ben on the shoulder, then gestures toward the forest.
Now, let's get you out there and show you the ropes.
Exterior, Gilead National Forest Day. Emily stumbles through the forest, terror fueled her every step. The creature is hot on her tail, its growls echoing through the trees. She trips over a root and falls to the ground, her breath coming in ragged gasps. The creature looms over her, its claws poised to strike. A gunshot rings out. The creature recoils, a howl of pain escaping its throat. Jake emerges from the underbrush, his rifle aimed and steady.
Did Nos write like this well last time? Because I feel like this is pretty solid.
Did we read anything of his last time?
We did. That he had that big. Didn't he have that big like production thing that we? All I remember is
that was like a couple of weeks ago, and
yeah.
like I don't think that was Knox because he had some other name when he came on stream.
Fair enough. All right. They did. Yeah. All right. Get back.
The creature hesitates, its eyes darting between Jake and Emily.
I said get back.
With a final snarl, the creature retreats into the shadows, vanishing.
I was Jake. Am I Ben?
Okay.
Vanishing as quickly as it appeared. Jake rushes to Emily's side, helping her to her feet.
Are you okay?
Emily nods, her voice trembling.
What was that?
Jake glances in the direction the creature disappeared, a grim look on his face.
I don't know, but we need to get out of here.
He slings Emily's arm over his shoulder and leads her away, the forest eerily silent once more. Fade to. Exterior, Gilead National Forest Day. Jake and Emily hike through the dense forest, their pace quickened by the adrenaline pumping through their veins. Emily leans heavily on Jake, her face pale and drawn.
Easy now. We're almost back to the trailhead.
What was that thing? I've never seen anything like it.
Jake frowns, his eyes scanning the surroundings.
I'm not sure. It looked like something out of a legend.
Emily shivers.
A legend?
Yeah. There are stories about creatures in these woods. Skinwalkers, they call them. Shapeshifters.
Emily's eyes widen in fear.
Shapeshifters? You mean like werewolves?
Jake shakes his head.
Not exactly. Skinwalkers are more sinister. They prey on the lost and the vulnerable.
Emily glances over her shoulder, a shiver running down her spine.
Do you think it's still out there? Watching us?
Jake tightens his grip on his rifle.
I don't know, but we need to get out of here before it finds us again.
They emerge from the trees onto the main trail. Emily lets out a sigh of relief as she spots the ranger station in the distance.
Come on, let's get you back to the station and get you checked out.
Emily nods, her legs wobbling as she takes a step forward.
Take it easy. You've been through a lot.
He wraps his arm around her waist, supporting her as they make their way toward the station. Oh, his script was the Japanese zombie story that we all commented on. He didn't know.
Yeah, I thought that was Rogue something.
Yes, that is this one. See?
Well, you notice, you see the watermark, Rogue Films.
Yeah, Rogue is Knox. They're the same guy.
Dude, pick a name.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it does help if you're trying to build a brand to use a similar
brand.
What I thought was funny, just recently watched Dumb Money about the GameStop shenanigans that went on during I want to say like 2020, 2021, somewhere around there. And one of the things they comment on is that like the guy who became the main mover and shaker on YouTube regarding GameStop, he had two different handles. One was Roaring Kitty on Twitter, and one was like something value. And someone goes like, "You couldn't just choose a name." But yeah,
I think if you're trying to build a brand, it might be
it kind of helps
to use a consistent brand across social media platforms, so people know who they're talking to. Anyway, we are cutting to the interior park ranger station day. Jake and Emily burst through the door, the tension still clinging to them. Ben, who had been studying maps at a desk, jumps up in surprise.
What? Okay. What happened? What? We don't like that?
I'm trying to figure out like if I should be Ben or if I'm going to talk to myself if I am.
No, I'll be Ben. You can be Jake.
Okay.
What happened? Are you guys okay?
Jake guides Emily to a chair and gently lowers her down.
We ran into some trouble out on the trail. This is Emily. She needs to rest.
Ben rushes to grab a bottle of water and a first aid kit. He kneels beside Emily, concern etched in his face.
Are you hurt? No, wait, sorry.
Yeah, that's you.
I'm Ben. Yeah, are you hurt? Do you need me to call for an ambulance?
Emily shakes her head, taking a deep breath.
And this is also
possible. I'm just shaken up. I'll be fine.
Jake places a comforting hand on her shoulder.
Take your time. We're safe here.
He turns to Ben, his expression hardening.
Ben, I need you to radio dispatch. Tell them we encountered a hostile situation on the trail and need backup.
Ben nods, his youthful eagerness replaced by a newfound seriousness. He grabs the radio and relays the message, his voice clear and concise.
Can you tell me what happened?
Emily takes a sip of water, her hand still trembling slightly.
I was hiking to the waterfall when I heard a noise. I turned around and saw this creature. It was tall with glowing eyes and...
She shudders, unable to finish the sentence.
It's okay. Take your time.
It lunged at me, but you showed up just in time.
She looks at Jake with gratitude in her eyes.
I'm just glad I was there.
He glances out the window, his gaze fixed on the forest in the distance. A dark cloud seems to hang over the trees, casting an ominous shadow over the landscape. Fade.
This guy's controlling all of his transitions between scenes. I don't know why.
Interior Park Ranger Station day. Hours later, the station is buzzing with activity. 2 additional rangers, Sarah 40s and Carlos 50s, have arrived, along with the local sheriff, Sheriff Davis 60s, a weathered man with a no-nonsense demeanor. They gather around a table, poring over maps of the forest. Jake stands at a whiteboard, sketching a rough outline of the creature Emily described.
So, you're telling me this girl saw, what'd you call it? Skinwalker?
Jake nods, his face grim.
That's what it looked like. Tall, gaunt, with glowing eyes. It moved like nothing I've ever seen before.
Skinwalkers are just folklore, Jake. Old wives' tales.
Maybe, but Emily saw something out there, and it wasn't human.
What about the hiker? The one reported missing yesterday. Any connection? Jake exchanged a look with Sheriff Davis.
We found his backpack near the waterfall. No sign of him.
Emily, who had been sitting quietly in a corner, speaks up.
I saw the backpack too. It was right before.
She trails off, her voice catching in her throat.
It's okay, Emily. You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
Emily takes a deep breath.
I need to. Maybe it'll help you find him.
She recounts her encounter with the creature, the terror in her voice evident. The other rangers listen intently, their faces a mixture of disbelief and concern.
Pausing for a second. That sounds like dialogue, and someone needs to write it, Mr. Writer Man.
Let's see. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she recounts her encounter.
Yes.
Yeah,
that sounds like dialogue.
That's dialogue.
That's
someone
dialogue.
needs to write that shit, and you're the writer. Deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I tend to point that out when people are just like, there are mutters in the crowd. I'm like, okay, well, do you just want people to just pure ad lib, or maybe you should tell us what they say? Yeah,
I mean, professionals are okay at that, but for recounts or encounter, like, fucking write that. Yeah. That's an important scene.
Yes.
A lot of time, well, if it's background work, you actually aren't allowed to talk. You're supposed to just mouth like you're talking, because they'll put in a sound effect for background noise. That way, the audio of the actors talking doesn't get convoluted with background noise.
Mm-hmm.
So you're supposed to pretend you're talking, and then they just fill it in with ambient noise. But anyway, somebody's stroking a chin.
Oh yes, this is starting more than just a missing person case. I agree. We need to find this thing before it hurts us.
Anyone else?
The Rangers nod in agreement, a sense of determination settling over the room. What's the plan, Jake? Oh, wait, I forgot it was Carlos. Jake looks at each of them in turn, his eyes steely.
We're going back out there, and we're not coming back till we find that hiker and put an end to this skinwalker.
Cut two. Like every scene change, he's all over it.
He's cutting too.
Maybe you found a button that just puts it in.
Exterior, Gila National Forest day. The sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across the forest. The search party, consisting of Jake, Ben, Sarah, Carlos, and Sheriff Davis, trek through the dense undergrowth, their flashlights cutting through the darkness.
Stay close. We don't know what we're up against.
Preston, Irwin was chatting in chat, so I don't know if he's in the
way. He was like, sorry I'm late. I had to something with a taxi.
Oh, awesome. What's up, Irwin? How you doing?
Oh, he's apologizing for being here. Classic Irwin.
There I am. All right, I thought I was backstage. All right.
You were for a second. Jake has a line, or did Jake do his line?
Stay close. We don't know what we're up against.
The group moves in tight formation, their senses heightened. The only sound is the crunch of leaves underfoot and the occasional hoot of an owl. And then somebody needs to scroll the page.
So this is where you scroll together.
I got a text from my attorney regarding my deposition tomorrow. I had to read it. Anyway, go ahead.
This is your line, actually.
Okay. Do you really think there's a skinwalker out here?
Jake glances at him, his expression grim.
I don't know what else it could be. I'm totally not playing the actual direction.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been freaking Bigfoot for all we know. Anyway,
I mean, it could have just been a guy in a cheap Halloween costume.
Yeah. Anyway, it's probably just a bear or a mountain lion. Or a prankster trying to scare us. Jake shakes his head.
This is different. I can feel it.
They come to a clearing. The moonlight illuminates a small abandoned cabin.
Let's check it out. It might be a clue.
The group approaches cautiously, their weapons drawn. Jake reaches the door and slowly pushes it open. The interior is dark and dusty, filled with cobwebs and decaying furniture. A musty smell hangs in the air. Sarah shines her flashlight. Is that dialogue? I don't get that.
No, that's not. That's an action. That's no dialogue.
Or she's saying, looks like nobody's been here in years.
Oh, wait. Yeah, that's the line. Looks like nobody. Okay, that's the line.
Editing faux pas. Yeah. Jake notices a strange symbol carved in the wall above the fireplace. It's crudely drawn figure with elongated limbs and a misshapen head.
Well, that's not a good sign.
Suddenly, a chilling howl pierces the silence. The Rangers spin around, their flashlights searching the darkness. A pair of glowing red eyes appear in the doorway, followed by a shadowy outline of a tall, gaunt figure. He loves that word gaunt. I've noticed that.
I mean, it's the word that there's only the one word for this. It's going to get used a lot. There it is.
The creature lunges, its claws outstretched. Cut to interior abandoned cabin, night.
Weren't they in the interior before?
They were. Now we're cutting to. Chaos erupts as the creature lunges into the cabin. Wouldn't that just be the continuation of the scene? Whatever. Gunshots echo through the cramped space, shattering the silence. The Rangers scatter, firing blindly into the darkness.
Hold your fire. Don't hit each other.
The creature moves with lightning speed, dodging bullets and leaping over furniture. It swipes at Carlos, its claws tearing through his jacket, but missing his flesh. So it's a stormtrooper skinwalker.
Damn it, it's too fast.
Oh, I forgot I was Carlos. Sarah takes aim and fires, hitting the creature in the shoulder. It lets out a screech of pain, but the wound seems to heal instantly. What the hell is that thing? Ben, frozen in fear, drops his rifle and backs away. The creature corners him, its glowing eyes fixated on his face.
Stay away from me.
And that's 10 pages, unless you want to keep going.
That was totally 10 pages.
I mean, is it 10 pages? Let's see. 11.
Yeah, we're now on page 11.
You're right. That was 10 pages. Okay. Well, stuff happened. It was exciting. There was a werewolf. People had to run away from it. They ran back and found a cop, and and then there's more werewolf stuff, right? I think like that final page, they're under attack in some way.
Yeah, sounds that way.
Every 10 minutes, damn werewolf like clockwork.
Yes. So, I mean, look, it certainly starts well. There's plenty of action. It's exciting. It's well written. You need to ease up on the transitions, but outside of that, it's well written. I like the avoiding of the passive voice. So, hooray.
Yeah, the first page was really good, classic. Keep that for every other time you do a crime or monster project. That's a pretty good thing to do. There's people, they get to the point really quickly. There's a monster, there's something to be done about it. It's all very exciting. The monster just shows up to wreck shit. You pay off what you're trying to sell.
Yeah, what they said. Page 1 was really good. Very tight and good introduction to the character. And yeah, really, good horror monster thing going on.
Erwin,
I didn't really get to see all of it, of course. But I did notice my consciousness sort of shift out of the action when it was said that the monsters started healing magically. And then I was, for some reason, that sort of took me out of the moment. So just a note.
That's one of those werewolf properties, though. Like werewolves have magic healing.
They do?
Yeah. And
I didn't know that.
And well, you're not a werewolf fan, Erwin. I can just say that right now.
I'm not a werewolf fan. Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why you have, Silver Bullet, for instance, the Stephen King story. The reason why they're vulnerable to silver is because they can't regenerate from that. But if you just shoot them down with lead, well, then they're up and running in no time at all. Nature of werewolves.
Silver has magical properties.
Silver has magical properties.
I see. Yeah.
Yes.
But yes, it sounds like a fun first 10 pages for an action monster film. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Regarding constructive, honestly, I don't have a ton of constructives. It seemed like a perfectly adequate, in fact, I'd even go better than adequate start to a werewolf story. I'm fine with it. Danny, what do you got?
The characters were really bland. Jake only ever said one thing, which is telling Emily not to talk about it, which was just like, okay.
He's a werewolf too, probably.
Whatever. And then like a whole bunch of fresh meat shows up just for the sake of being fresh meat. So that was real obvious. Also, you're 10 minutes in and there's no B plot. So, you could have a werewolf show up every 10 minutes like clockwork. It's a movie. Not the worst movie. But it's going to get real tiring really quickly with only 5 characters to kill and no one dying at all in the first 10 minutes. So none of the humans die, so they're not under threat, and the werewolf is invincible, so he's not threatened by anything. So it's just going to be bashing action figures together. This is a John Lamont script secretly, isn't it?
So, well, it's not a John Lamont script. There's not enough tits. So I guess, Danny, if you're done. So yeah, I kind of had a lot of the same feelings Danny did. I feel like you spend too much time sitting around people talking about things. We have a bunch of characters that we know absolutely nothing about. It's like we don't know. And again, yes, I know they're rangers. This is their job. They're here to do their job. But I don't really know I don't know anything about these characters besides their name and their age, and that's like it. Like these characters have no life outside of this story, and that's where I think it kind of falls apart. I would almost my immediate suggestion was I don't really understand the point of why Emily is in the woods to then leave the woods to then go back into the woods. That seems a little confusing. I mean, maybe she's not part of the hunting party, but I kind of feel like you should skip the beginning and just start with the hunting party and have them looking for the missing hiker. I don't understand what Emily has to do with the missing hiker thing. If they're going to go out looking for this missing hiker, I think they should just be a group of rangers looking for a missing hiker because that's their job. And as they're looking for the missing hiker, then you introduce your B plots. We get to spend some time with the characters. As maybe 2 of the characters are, have a personal relationship. I know it's trope. It's been done before, but you have 2 characters that have been in a previous relationship and are broke up, and maybe one of them still trying to get with the other, and they're doing that while they're in the middle of this, and you have different people doing different things and acting, and then you have your werewolf come out and just basically start picking them off one by one, thus pushing the plot forward. It's a bit tropey, but it's also, it's a standard archetype, story archetype. That's why it's there. Kind of it's a little Predator-ish. But it works. That's why people do it. That's why people keep doing it. And I feel like I don't know if that's what you're going to do, because all of a sudden we haven't had that opportunity. We've met 2 characters really, who we know next to nothing about. And then we spend a couple pages with them, and then we're introduced to 4 new characters that we know nothing about, and then they all go get eaten by a werewolf. And I feel like this should have started on page 8. And that's all I have to say.
That's all?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe it's a short film and it ends on page 15.
Yeah, the typical way, right, is you have a main character who needs to do something, and then their whatever it is needs to get done gets totally hijacked by the big conflict, the werewolf or whatnot. And so, somebody needs to score 1600 on the SAT in order to get into college, or somebody needs to, deliver a freaking pizza, or lose their job. I don't know, whatever happens at the beginning of the story, so that's I don't know if it's really a trope, but it's just typical storytelling, I guess. So yeah, I'm down with what John is saying there. I'm picking up what he's putting down. That's it.
Alrighty.
Well, now we have to wait for Preston to give us another script to read.
All right. Let's take a look. Of course, I've been here. I've been patiently listening. All right. Erwin, we got 2 scripts. We got Harpies and we got La Vigilante. Which one sounds better to you?
Well, I want to make sure I get to hear La Vigilante.
Exactly. It sounds way better, doesn't it? Like, who doesn't want to hear La Vigilante? Harpies, it sounds like there's nothing I really want to listen to. All right. Here we go. La Vigilante. Let's share this script. Present, share screen, window. Okay. Who wishes to narrate? Oh, wait. Is there a way to... all right, wait, I can just zoom in. Right? Zoom in. There we go. Okay. Who wishes to narrate?
I'll narrate if nobody else wants to. I'm happy to do that.
Okay. Go ahead.
Whose script is this, if I may ask?
Do we know his name? I just know his, alt.
Okay.
CT Barrow or whatever his name is.
Yes.
It's the Barrow, like the pizza place, right?
Yes.
So basically someone who's not here right now. So, all right, that's cool. Interior, Katrina's bedroom night. Katrina, now an adult, wakes up from her nightmare, panicking in her own bed. Her alarm sounds, the clock showing 4 a.m. There is a makeshift Day of the Dead altar for her brother Tony next to her bed. Katrina now has long, wavy black hair and an athletic build with green eyes and a thin face. She's wearing a lace top and underwear. Interior, Katrina's bathroom, continuous. She walks to the bathroom, sits on the toilet, reads her messages, gets up, looks in the mirror, and talks to her AI partner, Gypsy.
Gypsy, what's on my agenda today?
Same as always. Work, eat, and fuck, and shit up.
And fuck shit up.
Oh, and fuck shit up. I thought this was a John Lamont script for a minute.
Good, Gypsy. Message Carolina.
Recording.
Bitch, I'm up at 4 a.m. Can you believe it? Any update on Mendoza? Come see me after the rush.
Sending.
Gypsy, play morning playlist.
Music plays as Katrina brushes her teeth, washes her face, and exits the bathroom. Interior, Katrina's apartment continuous. Katrina kicks her vacuum robot to start cleaning.
Wake up.
Katrina puts on her tracksuit, walks into the kitchen, makes a smoothie, gulps it down, throws her phone in her backpack, slings it on, and walks out the door. Oh, exterior, Katrina's apartment continuous. Katrina gets on her electric motorcycle, parked downstairs in the alley.
Systems on. Charge complete. No events to report.
Katrina puts on her helmet and takes off. She cruises the highway, and we see a futuristic city backdrop. Ciudad Santa Rosa is a flourishing city, vibrant with a neon cyberpunk. Try to move the screen here. Cyberpunk aesthetic. Its population consists.
That's partially Preston. He needs to scroll a little bit more.
Well, they put these pictures in here. Yeah.
Pretty pictures. Its population consists of a lithium and metals manufacturing workforce, as well as a tax haven for startup tech firms, all eager to exploit the population's money-hungry politicians. Exterior, Neocom Tower 1, dawn. Two towers stand side by side in District 2. Katrina arrives and parks. Then she walks to the Neocom Tower entrance and flashes her ID card. The card reader beeps and flashes red. A security guard stands idly by. Katrina waves him down.
Hi, good morning. Can you let me in?
Paco, a young security guard, tall with black hair, greets her.
Of course, Senorita.
Go ahead.
Of course, Senorita Miraflores should have a new one ready soon. Congratulations on your new role.
Thanks, Paco.
Paco opens the gate and she heads inside. Interior, Neocom Tower 1 new studio. Dawn. Katrina is now live on the air with her co-host Lupe. The news cycle exposition begins.
What have I done to myself? The search for Nadia Mendoza, daughter of the former Union chief Eric Mendoza, continues after her disappearance last week. Social media is in a frenzy after recent images show her leaving the fall festival with a group of friends before her disappearance. In other news, authorities are still searching for the woman in black who appears in multiple videos across social media.
Okay, one side note, and then I'll read for Lupe. If you're going to do this, if there's supposed to be stuff in the background, you need to tell us what's in the background. So if images are flashing on the screen, you need to describe those images. That'll help break up these giant walls of text. That's right, Katrina. She's wanted in connection to last week's shooting in the Red Neon District. 6 gang members were arrested, 2 were injured, and 1 is still in critical condition. Netzians are calling her La Vigilante.
Witnesses interviewed after the incident said she helped and rescued the victims of the assault. The ones responsible are believed to be a part of a gang known as Maniacos.
News show ends. Interior, Neocom Tower 1, dressing room later. Katrina is seated.
I thought you cut the dressing room scene. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go.
Katrina is seated in front of the mirror. Katrina is seated in front of the mirror in her dressing room with the studio's makeup artist, Martha. 40s, short with blonde hair. Katrina's best friend and co-worker, Carolina, late 20s with curly light brown hair, enters.
Hey, Kat, got your message. Hi, Marta. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias, Senorita Carolina.
Check it out, Kyle. This mirror uses interactive AI. Show her, Marta.
Magic Mirror Preset 3.
The mirror changes Katrina's hair color and makeup.
Do the funny one.
Magic Mirror Preset 6.
The mirror changes Katrina into a strange, extravagant hairstyle and makeup.
Oh, wait.
I'm
It's
not
Carolina.
I'm Katrina. So I'm gonna have.
Oh, why am I reading for Katrina? Ah, love it. Great for a night out with Senor Montega.
Shut it. Not happening.
I'm not.
They
Katrina
both
anymore.
laugh.
Thank you, Marta. That's all for now. All right.
I thought you were Marta.
I'm Katrina.
I mean Katrina the whole time.
Be Marta. See you after break, mija. Anyway.
Martha walks out and Carolina closes the door. Katrina spins around to face Carolina.
What you got?
Okay, all the net sleuths are hard at work on this case, so we gotta hurry if we're gonna break anything.
Some things had to come up from the leads I gave you.
Yep. Her best friend, Dina Alvarez, was apparently the last to see her. She lives in Las Haciendas Rojas. Here, the SRPD report.
In D3, that's right by me.
Carolina hands Katrina some paperwork.
How'd you get this? You called in that favor?
Yep. And some help from Montecas? Montecas.
Katrina peers down at the paperwork.
Also found a couple posts on her Insta with her new boyfriend.
That's a good lead. I think I'll go for a walk tonight.
Kat, focus on your new role. Hang out with the anchors in their tailor-made suits. Sip the matcha while you tan on the terrace. Leave this to me.
Kat waves her hand.
Totally not my vibe, girl.
Well, get used to it. You are front and center now, the new face of media.
She grabs Katrina's face and pulls her cheeks cartoonishly.
Wah.
Look at you. This is all yours. Enjoy it.
I'm trying, okay? This is my last report. Promise.
Katrina makes an assertive face.
As long as Diego understands.
Diego, he's got my back. After this, it's photo shoots and script reading for me.
As good as face shots sound, it's not my thing. You're tailor-made for it, though.
Thanks.
Katrina makes an Aegao anime face, and Carolina poses in the mirror.
Can you make me lose 5 pounds?
It doesn't grant wishes. Haha.
Shut it. Keep me updated. Ciao.
Ciao.
Who's narrating?
No, are we going to do this? Well, Interior gym. What?
We're basically done at the end of this location description. Do we need to narrate it?
I mean, no.
I'll do it. Interior gym, Brasileiro, afternoon. Katrina works out at Coach Domenico Sousa, coach's gym. Coach, a heavyset Brazilian man in his 50s with dreads, trains the community's youth. The gym is also the headquarters for the Knights of Constantine charity and is covered with Catholic graffiti and a Brazilian flag. Katrina kicks a heavy bag as Coach holds it.
See, where did we start? We started.
Oh, we started on 4, didn't we?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we started.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, we started on page 4. So,
okay.
I'll do Coach. Nosa, you're really into it today. What's up?
Another day, another Chica's missing. I thought after the Alvaro case, these maniacs wouldn't get a clue, Coach.
One falls and 3 more are ready to take their place. These streets are the breeding ground of deprived souls who hunger for sin. Unfortunately, women are a constant victim.
There has to be more that I can do.
Yeah, like scroll the page.
Yeah.
It's okay to feel that way. But never forget that one good deed and one life saved is well worth it. You're already signaled your presence. It'll only get tougher.
People are looking for help from La Vigilante. The hype is all over the net after the scramble at Red Neon District.
You really showed off there.
Coach holds the heavy bag with one hand as Katrina strikes it with a hook. Flashback of Katrina's night at the Red Neon District. Her weapons and gadgets are on display. She uses 2 extendable batons, a whip, a repurposed delivery drone, and sticky tasers. She dresses in all black and wears a neck mask she pulls over her face. She's a brutal, violent, and capable fighter, but never kills on purpose. Exterior red neon district night. Katrina pulls up on her electric bike to a dimly lit parking lot. Red neon lights everywhere. There's a gang of maniacos loitering and harassing customers exiting a bar. Maniaco number 1 grabs a woman by the arm.
Let me go.
Come on, baby. Let's have some fun.
Hey, she's done for tonight, okay?
Stay out of it. We've got something special going on. I feel it. Arg!
Yeah, we'll make sure she gets home safely. Why don't you join us too?
I'm not going anywhere with you two, and neither is she.
Maniaco 2 walks up to woman 2, and he flashes his pistol at his waistband.
Pay attention, because you're missing the point here.
You can't tease us, then bounce. Come on, finish what you started.
OMG, we'll do whatever you want, just don't hurt us.
I love this scene now.
The Maniacos... The Maniacos grab them.
You're coming with us.
Hey.
Everyone turns. Oops, sorry.
Everyone turns in Katrina's direction.
They've had enough. Let them go.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
You gonna do something about it?
Maniaco 2 drops Ceci and rushes Katrina.
Let's have some fun.
Katrina gets off her bike and front kicks him in the abdomen. Maniaco 2 pulls back.
Ugh.
Bitch got some kick to you.
Maniaco 1 releases Mari and she runs away with Ceci.
They're getting away.
Fuck him. I want this bitch.
Maniaco 1 rushes Katrina and swings at her. Katrina dodges to the left and strikes him in the face, knocking him out cold. Maniaco 2 grabs his walkie-talkie and screams into it.
Get out here. Bring it on. You don't realize what you just did. That's SG-50 you just knocked out. Do I look like I care?
20 maniacos rush the parking lot.
Now we're talking. That's the bitch. Get her.
Katrina throws a few sticky tasers as they rush her. A few of them drop to the floor. She then slams open her batons and goes to work on the dozen other maniacos. Okay, she slams the hardened metal against her. What's that?
That would be 10 pages. 4 to 13, I believe, would be 10 pages if my math's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're right.
All right. So let's see. We had a showdown. Or something. We had some ladies getting accosted. I remember some ladies getting accosted, and awesome. Ladies got accosted. Cool. All right, Danny, what you got?
You sure you want to say that it's awesome that ladies got accosted the day before your deposition?
John, what I'm going to open up with tomorrow, you're not going to find it in any book.
It was successful-ish. Something definitely happened.
Yeah.
Something definitely happened.
John.
It is better than what it was presented the last time. So, definite improvement, A+ on improvement.
Well, it's always fun to have a badass woman kicking butt and rescuing people from bad criminals, sex criminals, or gangsters, or whatever they are. let's see, Katrina. Well, I mean, I'm following her, and I think that's good. I think there's a through line there for the main character that definitely works as the beginning of an action film. She has this determination to rescue the innocent victims, but I think we need a little bit more. We need a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry. We're not supposed to get into that part right yet.
Go ahead. You're the last guy. You can go ahead and start with constructives. Feel free.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of Law and Order recently.
Uh-oh. Why?
And the writing for that show is just masterful. I just love it. It's so tight. They just pack all sorts of little storylines for all the different characters into sort of very, very concise dialogue, and they don't require, a lot of it's just people talking, right? So, and then there's like 3 or 4 plot twists in each, like 48-page episode, or however many pages the scripts are. Probably like 43. So I would, if I were whoever was writing this, I would maybe check out some of those Law and Orders, and they always start off with something. They tend to start off. I mean, it's formulaic, yes, but they all start off with the murder scene, or what's leading up to the murder itself, and so that always draws me in. I wasn't really drawn in much by the first few pages of this script. Like, if there was something that went down the night before and that Katrina is going to get upset about, let's see it. Let's not report on it in the news. Let's see it happen, and let's have Katrina, deal with something else on the news, or maybe we see something else in her sort of newscasting scene. Maybe she's getting so upset about the news itself, having to report it, that she's almost like unable to get through the actual, the actual reporting. And that, then you wouldn't have to have that sort of, I think we talked about tropes this time around. We wouldn't have that trope where she's like kicking the heavy bag, getting really riled up about, another, innocent, exploited in this terrible city. So anyways, that's my thoughts.
It's still very unmemorable. I remember some women go, like, what is going on in this thing? I don't know. Yes, consistently these pages that you present, just they're not memorable in any kind of way. They're people talking. And I know, like, I chat with you in Discord and you're like, well, anime is like people talking. Okay, well, whatever. I don't know what you're trying to emulate, but I suggest, I don't know. That's all I got to say. All right, Danny, go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm going to double down on this. You said you cut out the boring parts, and there was a particular moment from that first scene when she wakes up that I was expecting you'd cut, because I don't know if you've imagined filming it, but makes a smoothie? You didn't cut makes a smoothie? That's like 2 minutes of someone filtering fruit and putting it in. What are we doing? Anyway,
unless he's doing this, the Guy Ritchie Snatch way of making a smoothie.
Well, sure, I guess. Anyways, so I guess I wasn't clear enough. So I'm going to say this the way Preston would. The boring parts are everything where nobody has an emotional reaction and nobody makes a decision.
Yes.
None of our characters had an emotional reaction to anything, and nobody made any decisions. No. Therefore, this entire sequence was the boring part.
Yes.
So please cut the boring parts. Or rewrite it so that they're not boring, I guess, if you want to do that. If you're dead set on watching someone make a smoothie in your Batman movie. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm done.
Okay, so all right. So there are some kernels of something I think are salvageable here. But I think you're making a few major mistakes, and Irwin actually kind of touched on some of them. First of all, you are doing the events that occurred the night before these. I know you have the flashback, so forget the flashback because you have a nice flashback scene that we all said we liked, and then you cut 10 years in the future. You are restarting momentum. Nothing back matters. So you have a scene that takes place before these pages start that you're giving to us in a flashback. So since we know that these scenes has already occurred and we know that the main character survived, we have and I know this is going to sound like Danny talking about my stuff. There's no threat to our main character. My main character is immortal, or invulnerable, so that's different. All right, so there's no threat to the main character because we know she survives because this is a flashback. And I think that is a major issue that you're doing here. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. You should probably open on that scene. The second thing that really jumped out at me, which is I think you were trying to fix her being the news anchor thing that we had commented on before by the way you rewrote the dialogue in the dressing room scene. And I think you're running the problem that you ran into here, and I think you kind of did in the before, is you have a character who just got a promotion, but she's not acting like she wants this promotion. And that's falling flat. Because even here, she said something like, oh, I don't want this. This will be my last newscast. It's like, no, you just got promoted to this position and you don't even want it. Like, why? Why would you even accept this position if you don't want it? You know? And I feel like that's just so totally off the mark. And I feel like maybe, again, start on the action scene of her beating up the guys. Maybe she goes home and she oversleeps, so she's late for work. Oh, there's another conflict that you'd have to deal with, her getting to work on time. I don't know.
She got beat up so someone can do her makeup and deal with the bruises.
Yeah. Like, oh, I fell down the steps. I overslept and I fell down the steps on my way out of my apartment. Like, there are things that you can do. And again, I don't know why she is a newscaster if she doesn't want it. Like, that's a high profile job that people kill and, give reckless blowjobs to get that job, and she's got it, but she doesn't want it. And that just falls totally flat with me. I just don't understand why she's coming off like this job means absolutely nothing to her. I mean, if you look at Superman, like Clark Kent wants to be a news reporter. Like he wants it. He feels that he can do good as Clark Kent, the news reporter writing for the Daily Planet. And that drives him. Like, yes, he's Superman. He can do anything and he's invulnerable. He's got laser and he can do all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, he still goes to the Daily Planet because he believes he's making a difference. And he believes that work makes a difference and betters the lives of other people. And I don't understand why Katrina has this job that she doesn't want. And I want to see her actually want to make a difference. Like, if she's got this dual personality thing and she wants both sides, let's see it. And I just don't see that in these pages. And I feel like that's missing. I feel like, or maybe, and I think you also mentioned that she has like not a dragon. My character's a dragon. You had something else, some kind of other magical spirit living inside of her. So again, maybe lean into like a Jekyll Hyde thing where we open up and she's like completely hide it out and kicking ass and taking names, and then we smash cut to her in bed covered in bruises, and now we're like, she doesn't even remember how she got home, and all the last thing she remembers is she was fighting some bad guys and she blacked out, and then now that would be an interesting story. And then the alarm clock goes off and her AI is telling her, hey, you're going to be late for work, and then she has to get to work, and then we see her at work at why, and then we get to know why that work is important. And now you have set up this character to go on a journey where she's struggling between wanting to be La Vigilante with her inner spirit demon thing that gives her superpowers at night, and she's trying to also be the good reporter person. Oh, now I'm thinking of the Venom movie that was kind of like that too, so yeah, like that I think would be a more interesting way to tell this story that you're trying to tell, because as you're doing it right now, it's all over the place. You're introducing us to characters that we really don't care about, like what's the point of Coach? Like I don't know. In the previous pages he shows up just to give exposition. I mean, he doesn't even seem like he's her tech guy, and I don't know. I'll stop rambling now.
Do we have any more notes? Yeah. No, okay.
Like how we all swapped roles on which notes we'd focus on.
There we go. All right. Anyway, I mean, writing is a skill, and it you got to invest a lot of time and a lot of practice, and eventually you get better. So keep on coming back. The pages that you're presented today are better than the pages presented last time. So keep up the good work in that regard. All right. John, we got some harpies. Tell us about harpies.
All right. So this is a complete rewrite of the pages I presented last week. So technically this is going to be the second half of issue 2. And I took some of this is basically largely kind of based on a little bit of it's a brand new introduction halfway through the issue, so
okay, so can you remind us what happened in the first half of issue 2?
Oh, the first half of issue 2 was the airship in London, airship bombing the crap out of London, and then that scene ends. Issue 1 is issue 1 is airship bombing the crap out of London up until when Longfu gets thrown off the ship. Issue 2 is when Erin crashes her plane into that, but it wasn't enough to fill the whole issue. So that ends at about the page 9, I think, in comic script format. It's page 9. So this is what I'm working on, trying to fill out that issue. So,
all right, let's go. Exterior, Fortress Tobruk, night. A British flag hangs large over Fortress Tobruk. Soldiers stand guard in towers lining the walls. Spotlights illuminate the 2-meter stretch of barbed wire extending from the exterior wall. A soldier stands guard by the entry gate, rifle at his side, as another guard patrols the walkway.
Got a light?
No, okay.
The patrolling guard reaches into his pocket, producing a lighter.
Thanks.
Heard the news from London?
Yeah, some avatar. I thought she was supposed to be our savior or something.
After lighting his cigarette, he hands the lighter back to the second guard, who decides to light up a cigarette himself.
Dame was probably on her period.
I'm Soldier 2. That's me. I'm Soldier 2. Dame was probably on her period. No, Dame was probably her on period. There we go.
That's all right. It's only page 1.
Yeah.
I know. I've gone over this like 3 or 4 times. Damn.
Soldier 1 has a line.
Keep an eye out. I gotta piss.
Make it fast. I still got to finish rounds before the end of my shift.
Yeah.
Back of the guardhouse, the first soldier walks off behind the small guardhouse to do his business. The barbed wire along the wall rattles, drawing his attention.
Mason.
The second soldier yells back from his post.
Yeah.
The barbed wire rattles again. The first soldier finishes his business, raises his rifle to inspect the source of the noise. Front gate. The second guard keeps watch until he hears the first guard scream. Okay. Followed by the sound of ripping flesh.
God damn it.
Those letters aren't even near each other, John. Soldier 2.
Jesus Christ, what did you do?
No, sorry, higher up.
Oh, Henry's.
The second guard runs around to find the first guard. They have names, John. It's like Mason and Henris. Strewn through the barbed wires, tightening around his body. Wire cuts across his face, digging into his lips and tongue. Unable to speak. Okay. He shakes, barely alive, as the blood runs down the cables.
Jesus Christ, what did you do?
The soldier drops his rifle to assist his fallen comrade. The trapped soldier shakes, barbs cutting into his flesh.
Quit moving, you'll only make it worse.
The soldier continues shaking, pointing his with finger, as the other continues to find a spot to free him.
Hold on. Hold on. Was my other attorney about my deposition tomorrow. Okay, where was? All right.
I think you have a line.
Okay, now just hold still.
From behind him, a silhouette looms. Hands reaching out of the darkness grab him. Cut to exterior enlisted club fortress Tobruk Night. Screams from outside the wall draw the attention of 2 soldiers playing poker dice at a table outside the enlisted club. Is poker dice a thing, Preston?
Poker dice is a game. I mean, I don't think it's a very fun game, but it is a game.
Okay.
What the fuck was that?
Call it in. I'll go check it out.
The soldier, very specific, nice one, John, grabs his rifle, stepping off the deck. Walking towards the fortress gate, Soldier 4 sees Soldier 2 shambling into the fortress.
Private, you okay?
The second soldier continues walking toward him. The fourth soldier pulls the bolt back on his rifle.
Talk to me, Private.
As they get closer, the fourth soldier notices the other's tattered and blood-stained uniform. Suddenly, it lunges at him, baring teeth. The soldier fires with his rifle. Bang! The bullet blasts through his chest, but does nothing to stop him. The second soldier tackles the fourth, biting into his neck and tearing out his throat. The fourth soldier, unable to scream, lays helpless as the second soldier smashes his skull open on the ground and pulling out his brains like a capuchin monkey digging into a coconut. A woman's shadow passes by. Interior enlisted club, Fortress Tobruk Night. Low-ranking soldiers sit out the enlisted club drinking, playing poker or other games. A bartender keeps the drinks flowing as long as the men can keep paying. The third soldier enters.
Hey, there's something going on outside the gate.
Before he finishes speaking, the doors fall open as Jezidra, wearing a simple sarong that barely covers her body, enters. The only woman in the room draws all the men's eyes and attention to her.
Damn right, something's going on. Come on over here, little lady.
Don't get ahead of your... I won't be soldier 6. Go ahead.
don't get ahead of yourself. I'm sure Colonel Dreyfus ordered her.
The sixth soldier gets up from the table. Stepping closer, he eyes her lustfully up and down.
Officers' Club is up the road, sweetheart. I'm sure they're expecting you, but goddamn.
Jezidral arches a brow, barring a look of feigned ignorance.
Officer Club, up the road.
Jezidral gives him a confused look. The soldiers share a chuckle amongst themselves.
Colonel's gonna love you. He likes them dark and plump.
The soldier gropes Jezidral's breast. Jezidral slaps his hand.
Uruva.
Gotta make John read that shit, dude.
Nope, Erwin volunteered. He's up. He's Jezidral now.
Oh, man. You are such a sadist. The soldier steps back in shock at Jezidral's quick movements. The others soldiers all bust a gut laughing. Another soldier gets up from his seat. We need a soldier 7.
Sit down, Jack. I'll walk up to the officers' club.
Fear and intrepidation, whatever the hell that means, overtakes the sixth soldier. He stares at his hand, turning gray and disintegrating to dust, starting from where Jezidral slapped him and traveling up his arm.
Oh, what the fuck?
He screams out, but it takes only seconds before the spell turns him one verb at a time, John, completely to dust, leaving nothing but his clothes falling onto the floor. All eyes turn from the dusty soldier back to Jezidral. Have fun, Erwin.
Denderedzwa. Rerufu.
A sphere of red chaos magic radiates from Jezidral, striking the soldiers. They convulse violently, vomiting blood. Eyeballs pop out of their sockets on some. Others, their limbs twist improperly, causing bones to break and tear through flesh. It takes merely seconds before all the soldiers are turned to walking dead. Jezidral walks to the bar, where the bartender continues staring at her.
Gin and tonic.
Yes, ma'am.
With trembling hands, the bartender pours the drink.
Plump, huh? That'll teach Private Dusty to call me fat.
The bartender shakes his head, handing her the drink.
No, ma'am. I think he mean you have nice bosoms.
Jezidral looks down, examining
They got a laugh from the peanut gallery.
I guess so. Well, my lover can't keep her hands off of them. Master should have at least asked for consent.
Well, you sure showed him.
Jezidral takes a sip of her drink.
Damn, barkeep, this is pretty good.
Thanks. Does that mean you'll spare me?
Nice try.
And there should be an action line here. Bartender takes bottle, smashes Jezidral in face, and runs out of the club.
Also the scene keeps happening for some reason.
Yeah.
Exterior and Liston Club.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It was same slug line, and we just keep going. Okay. Yeah.
Tobruk, we're exterior now. Yay.
Yeah.
Night. Jezidral finishes her drink as she exits the club before tossing the glass to the side. Exiting behind her, the horde of undead soldiers, including the bartender, follow in tow. Zola stands in the middle of the street, wearing a similar outfit as Jezidral, with double the undead horde behind her.
Oh, there you are. I thought I lost you.
Never, my love.
Meeting her in the street.
I knew this was going to happen. I knew it.
Well, I kind of set it up.
Yeah.
The two embrace, sharing a passionate kiss. Zola runs her hands up Jezreel's body from her ass to her breasts.
We were just talking about you.
Really? Only good things?
Of course. Come, one of these bastards was nice enough to give me directions to the officers' club.
The two join hands and walk up the road as the zombie horde follow behind. God, the scene is still happening.
My
Later,
God, chill,
interior offices, Fortress Tobruk, night. A woman, missing a shoe, races down a dark hallway as shambling undead follow. She turns a corner, running into Zola, who gives her blank stare.
Run!
We have a shh.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I'm Zola. Shh.
The scene continues. Interior, Colonel's office, Fortress Tobruk, night. Jezidrou enters the office, noticing a large painting, the Colonel, his wife, and son. Noticing a large painting, the Colonel, his wife, and son. The woman's scream can be heard down the hall. As Jezidrou turns to leave, hairs on her arms stand on end. She turns, raising her hand.
Oopajoo.
Jezidrou's palm glows with a misty white aura. Inside a large cabinet by the wall, a misty white aura seeps out from the cracks. Closing her hand, the spell dissipates and the white aura fades. Jezidrou throws the cabinet doors open wide, finding a small boy about 8, wearing khaki shorts and collared shirt, huddled inside. He looks up at Jezidrou with tear-strewn eyes.
Hello, boy.
His breathing erratic, the boy could barely make any words. Interior Tavern. Oh, this is a new location. Okay. Interior Tavern, Bulawayo, day, flashback. Arthur Ridley smirks from behind his poker hand, staring down his opponent, Chester Wilson, an African businessman. They are the last two in the game. A pot between them consists of mostly chips, a few British pounds, and a gold ring. One of the previously folded players leans back in his chair, a small stack of chips in front. He smiles in anticipation.
Patient.
3 of his cards face up, 1 face down. The other player stands by talking to a bar wench. Really, John? Waiting for them. Chester's holds a single card, ace of clubs, on the table before him, nines.
Alcohol.
Arthur smiles. He holds a single card, jack of hearts, on the table, spades and 2 threes.
You don't have enough to call.
Chester raises his hand, snapping his fingers.
Musakana, come.
Wait, Chester broke his fingers raising his hand? Dude. A young African girl of 13 wearing a simple dress steps forward from the shadows to stand beside Chester. Interior, Colonel's office, Fortress Tobruk, night present. The boy stares at Jezidrou as Zola's voice snaps her back to reality.
My love, where are?
Jezidrou closes the door, turning around just before Zola enters.
There you are, the last living thing in the building.
Yes.
Jezidrou kisses Zola. Zola takes the opportunity to fondle. Okay. Fucking hell.
The motorboat. Motorboat. Jezidrou's large, pendulous chocolate bosoms. There we go.
But it's the second time they've done this.
There cannot be enough booby touching in a John Lamont script.
It's a character trait.
No, it's not.
Here, really?
There we go. There we go.
Magic makes me wet.
Later, my love. We do have all evening.
Zola smiles, heading back out of the office.
I am sure our dearest matriarch will be happy with our success.
Interior office. The scene Why is the scene still happening, John?
Because it's not over yet. Jeez.
It was over 5 pages ago, minimum. No, wait. Then there was a flat 10 pages ago.
All right, let's take this.
Jezidrou follows Zola into the hallway.
Perhaps she will finally learn to trust your faithfulness to our coven as I have.
Perhaps she will.
As they approach the end of the hall, Jezidro takes one last look back before following Zola into the stairwell.
All right, there we go. Well, I mean, we had action happening. We had Jezidro walk into a bar and kill some soldiers. We had some soldiery dialogue before that. Then we had a lot of sapphic action between Jezidro and Zola. And I think that's what we had for 10 pages. I don't know if there was a ton else. But you know, like we delivered on zombies, magic, and lesbo boobs. So hooray.
I mean, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
You did all of those things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was cool that this was the first time where I felt like I wasn't jumping in to the middle of something that I didn't know, that I didn't understand. And even though I don't know these characters very well, I think that they're regulars, right? Jezidro and Zola,
Yes.
right? Yeah, regulars.
Yes.
Yeah. I like how they almost had like a competition as to how many zombies they could make, and then they joined up and I guess created a giant zombie army. So that was kind of cool. I had that was kind of a surprise. I like little surprises in stories. So yeah.
Constructives. Okay. All right. So one, I feel the only real emotional. All right. I mean, outside of like, ooh, lesbo boobies, exciting.
Not an emotion, Preston.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's somewhat. It's kind of an emotion. That's kind
of it's titillation.
It's titillate. I was titillated by the tits. But in regarding Jezidro killing people, I mean, for the most part, they're nameless NPCs. We get the bartender, and the bartender kind of does her a solid. And the bartender seems to want for his life, and he gets killed. But I feel like he cut too early. Generally, John, I feel like you shy away from emotionally difficult scenes. Anytime someone starts to do something that the audience might react to, I feel like you cut. And this is an example. I feel like, why not show us killing the bartender, the perfectly innocent guy, as he pleads for his life and dies horribly, right? Then we would probably not like Jezidro and want her to suffer at some future point. And hooray. Well, and that would be my
note. So, jumping off of Preston's point, or have Zola kill the child. So then Jezidro is the good guy for not wanting to kill the child, and she's redeemable, while still leading his horrifying zombie army in wherever the hell this location is, doing whatever the hell it is she's trying to do, because this is where you introduce her to your new readers in this series, remember. Also, yeah, this wasn't really a scene. Like, I know stuff kept happening, but it was really repetitive. Like, you had a perfectly good scene of, ooh, something's killing the soldiers. And then, okay, so that did the job. And then you basically did it again with Jezidro is killing the soldiers. And then you had the cool bartender bit. And then that mostly did the job. And then they just go to a different place and kill more soldiers. And then nobody kills a child. So no one's even an irredeemable villain. So what was the point of that? And then there was a flashback that also ended too early, so there was no point to that. You were watching someone play cards, and then like they make out twice.
They what twice?
And it was
there's two sapphic interactions. Danny was
in front of the zombie army, so
yeah.
Only one of those was necessary at most.
Yeah.
And this is why I was like, oh my god, this keeps happening. It was because like there were like 8 different times you just should have gone to anything else. This is just like, and now they do the same thing somewhere else, and so yeah, like we don't know any of their motivations. These two people might as well be the same person. They're basically dressed the same as well. They don't do anything different. So what? I'll put it to you. Like, what are you trying to introduce here?
Well, I mean, why does Jezidro obscuring the child so that he doesn't get found not resonate? You'd need him to die.
Well, if she were to have a conversation about that with Zola, or Zola's like, you know, oh, there's no living thing. Let's make out for a bit. Oops, I did notice the child behind you because I can sense living. Let's do that job we had. And then Jezidra fails, then they would have had a conflict of opinion, and that would have been character building. So, like, the child thing was good. You could have leaned into that, just as you could have leaned into the bartender thing, which was good for the exact same reason. The bartender has a character here. The other one has a flashback to her dead husband. Pick your poison. They're both fine. But Zola and Jezidra need to have a difference of opinion because they're two different people. They're not stormtroopers. The competition on how many innocent civilians can we kill and still be a redeemable protagonist is a really weird competition. So I don't know why you're playing that game.
No, I'm not.
I didn't figure you were.
So what it? Okay, so
I mean, you're introducing her. So what does she do? You know, who is this person? So you need to have some of that. Maybe have someone drop her name. That would probably help. What do they do? She summons zombies and does magic shit. Okay, cool. And then what does she want? Those are the three things about a character you need to introduce when you introduce the character. So you've introduced what she does, and that's it.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Who are they? What do they do? What do they want? Those are the three main characteristics of a character introduction, right?
Right.
You've introduced what she does.
Okay. So what if what if she spared the bartender and then Zola kills the kid? That would set it up as one being an irredeemable villain and the other being as a potentially redeemable villain.
Yes.
Okay. It's an idea.
And realistically, like, you're gonna have to cut some of the titillation or some of the build-up because this isn't acting like a horror movie in any meaningful way. That's working. So, like, you're gonna need a little bit more room with the bartender. You're gonna need a lot more room with the kid because there's gonna be some dialogue there. And if you're doing a comic, dialogue is expensive.
You're pretty cheap. I was just kidding.
Yeah, dialogue costs pages. Zombies don't. Right? This is the difference between a comic and a film. In a film, your special effects cost money and your dialogue doesn't. In a comic, your dialogue costs money and your special effects don't. Right? So you're going to have to spend pages on the dialogue, and there has to be an argument, or they make out for a bit, and then Zola kills the kid or whatever. Well, then there's got to be some conversation about it in the dialogue, so that way we know who this person is and what they want, and also what they don't want, which is like most of the way there. And also what their fucking goal is, because that's totally vexing. This person is going to be a protagonist in like less than 20 pages. So that conversation with Zola has to do a lot of work.
Okay.
/ with the bartender, whatever goes on there.
Yeah, I mean, we got 2 characters and a lot of NPCs that die. All right, Irvin, what do you think?
Well, you probably have more space to do all of this than it seems, right? Because because how many scenes do you need where they're like just slaughtering people and turning them into dust? So, as far as comic book pages are concerned, you probably have more. You could cut out a lot of this quote unquote action that doesn't necessarily advance the story that much. And then you could add this expensive dialogue. But some of this conflict should probably, I think I have a bias towards I have a bias towards conflicts between 2 close people, expressing core character flaws, character growth, and clashes of philosophy or mores. So you could just set it up. You could set it up to sort of center around this boy, which I kind of forgot about the boy after until Danny just mentioned it. But yeah, I mean this sort of clash of philosophy and clash of personalities and demonstration of character flaws and needs and so on and so forth could be all acted out around this boy who we could actually see his facial and body expressions every once in a while as he's caught in between this sort of war between these 2 powerful evil people. Maybe he has maybe he has an opinion on what's going on as well, which might make it kind of interesting. But yeah,
I have whether or not he lives.
Yeah. I mean, he might have. Yeah, I mean,
maybe it's a slim possibility, John.
Hmm?
Sorry, it was more of like, of course he has an opinion and wants to not die.
No, I mean, like opinion on maybe other stuff, some smart alecky comments or something. But I think I like the idea that you have 2 zombie creating characters who are lovers who have a conflict of some sort as they sort of march towards some sort of seemingly common goal, and I'm assuming it has something to do with destroying this army. Is this the Nazis or is this I mean, who are these people?
These are actually the Allies.
They're the Russians?
No, no, the British. They're the Allies. They took Fortress Tobruk in about 43, and this story takes place in early 44.
But these are our protagonists, right? Like,
one of them is supposed to be a redeemable villain who goes through a redemption arc, and the other one is not. The other one is one of the villain characters.
So it might. So, a lot of times in these redemption stories, we get to see the terrible side first.
That's basically what I'm.
What you're doing here, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going with.
Yeah, so we get to see the Malcolm Little character before he becomes Malcolm X. Well, I think that's I think that works, and all the kissing and breast grabbing. I mean, that's another place where you could save it for a moment where it becomes really much more meaningful. Like, they just, I don't know, they just overcame their first great big hurdle, and rather than rape the soldiers, they're taking it out on each other. So yeah, or maybe they do both.
I mean, I feel like makes out on a pile of corpses is like pretty much a sign of irredeemability.
Would be pretty
I don't know. They are
cool.
nameless NPCs.
Yeah, I mean that would actually be like, look, if you want to make a statement, like make us kind of like these soldiers, and then have these two come in and slaughter them, and make out on a pile of gore. That would be kind of hot.
Yeah, and then that's like that's like a 2 to 3 page scene, and get out of there.
Yeah,
and congratulations, you've introduced these people are just killing random good guys, I guess.
Yeah.
But then you actually have to develop that villain plot, which I don't think you want to do, because your story still has a better villain, and it's the Nazis. Because I don't know why you keep forgetting about this, but the Nazis are a really good villain, and like you can't really do better with the supernatural. I mean, I do understand what you're going for, but he doesn't really come off as a villain in Angel of Darkness.
Who doesn't?
Jezidrow.
No, I know.
Like, she is totally evil, but she doesn't come across as a villain. There's not a single cackle.
No cackling.
Yeah, so if they're not cackling, they're not villains, are they? And so, if you just have this be a scene that's like, okay, they did that, then go back to like, are people literally fighting Nazis, which is probably more interesting. Then you get your tits in, or having an argument about whether or not to kill a child. That's a perfectly good dramatic moment. You can still start with making it on a pile of corpses, and the child is like trying to leave or whatever, and they catch him. Bang, that's your scene. And then get back to your other story, and then have her show up later, and then you've already introduced probable villain without too much dialogue. And if you have her argue not to kill the child, likely anti-hero. Likely anti-hero is the best you're going to get with this kind of intro.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, but the character was always meant to be an anti-hero. That was how I had always envisioned the character as kind of an anti-hero. So
I don't think she can. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I was gonna say I don't think she can want originally to save this boy just because he's an innocent boy, right? It's got to be maybe for some reason this kid touches some part of her that's human.
The idea is that the boy reminds her of her dead husband, who saved her. She was basically in the flashback. She's the 13-year-old who was. She basically won her at a poker game.
Oh.
It's mentioned briefly in Angel of Darkness. I wrote an 8-page ashcan that was about how they met and all of that. I never actually published it. I thought about it, but
as a person who's lettered Angel of Darkness, I've never heard of this scene. Like it never gets mentioned elsewhere either, right?
She mentions, I think, a few times that he saved her. He was the best thing that ever happened to her. She mentions how horrible. She mentions how horrible her life used to be. As I said, it's implied, and as I said, I wrote this scene before, early on. I think I wrote it after issue 1, or I wrote the ashcan after issue 1. But I thought about producing it as kind of a stretch goal, but Angel of Darkness never really made enough money for me to really go in. Anywho, The idea was to use that storyline. That the whole poker game scene was written from, is basically copy pasted from the ash can I wrote. But that basically, that scene, or that what I thought about doing was inserting that into the story is kind of what.
Well, using the child to do this is a good idea, so you're on the right track.
So that was the idea, and as I said, that was kind of based on Preston's idea. So he said use a redheaded girl, but then I thought, you know what? If I do a little blonde boy, it'll remind her of her husband.
No, that's good, and you get to remind us about Angel of Darkness. You're on the right track with that. I didn't say cut the flashback. The flashback was fine, right? Like the flashback wasn't the thing I was complaining about. It was like it's just a bunch of people murdering some dudes. But yeah, have them like make out with on top of a pile of corpses, then raise the dead, and then that'll freak out the child. It'll be a whole scene, and you can get out of there. You can also have your tits and zombies too, I guess. But like, I think you can do this in one location, like real easy.
Okay.
And frankly, I think it's better that way. Or, do something cool with the bartender and then, be like, well, the boss of my tribe says I should kill all of you, but you make a good gin and tonic. It would be a pity. And then, she just leaves. It's like, oh yeah, they're all dead. Don't check out the bar. That works too. She can be a very selfish, generous, slightly redeemable person. Maybe it was a really good drink. And that whole conversation was actually pretty good with the bartender, right? But if this is the entire half of the issue, like you need another half of the issue, I think.
Yeah, if this is half an issue and I cut it in half, as you're suggesting, then I need to do more with this, and I don't know where else.
You also need to transition to the next issue before the end of this. So I feel like if you leave it off on zombies, then it's like a giant head fake of, oh yeah, you thought this was about Nazis attacking London? Nope, zombie bitches, let's go. And so that can't be the end of your. That can't be the end of your.
No, it wasn't. I hadn't decided. I wanted to do a short scene after this that was a bit kind of a lighthearted comedic scene, but I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do yet with that. But I kind of wanted to do a quick lighthearted scene with my.
Well, in that case, I recommend you find a way to save the cat.
Well, she left the cat in the cabinet so that he doesn't get caught.
Yes, but I mean, we also want to make the cat, a topic of conversation.
Okay.
Because then, again, you still tell us who this person is and what they want, which is really important here. And make out on the bloody corpses of my enemies is not like Venom. If Venom won't do it, your character shouldn't do it.
If who?
Venom, the Spider-Man villain / anti-hero.
Oh.
If Venom won't do it, it's too much to be a good anti-hero. Is a reasonable marker. If Carnage would do it, it's evil. Well, we're a comic stream, right? People read comics?
Right.
Yes.
So I'm using a comics reference for once.
I'm down with Venom.
Right? Venom is at the perfect level of anti-hero.
He is, yes.
The book is called Venom, Lethal Protector. It's a fun book.
Well, I think Venom started out as a villain and people just liked him, kind of like Punisher. And
Well, yeah, he also wasn't like crazy kill all the civilians villain either. He was like, okay, Spider-Man, fuck you.
Yeah.
It was a personal villain thing.
Yes.
Obviously, people liked him, blah, 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 Todd McFarlane, blah, 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 blah. But Venom is a good marker here. If Venom would do it, anti-hero. If Carnage would do it, evil.
Yes. There you go.
All right. So I'm not super familiar with Venom outside of the movies. I will.
The movies are fine. The movies are good enough.
Okay. Because I was going to say if you want to recommend some books, I'll look into them.
No, like the movies are fine.
I mean, look, we're already talking about Jezidro, who created a zombie army that killed a bunch of innocent people.
Then dragged it across a continent.
Yes.
Shitting zombies everywhere she went.
Yes.
Like the Romans did with Rhodes.
Yeah.
For some reason, we're not engaging with that at all.
She did end that one.
She gets a pass.
Sure. Okay. So that happened. And what location is this fortress in?
It's in Libya. It's in northern Libya.
Okay, so Middle East Africa.
North Africa.
Yeah. Okay.
Libya's...
Good.
Oh, okay. You meant Middle East, like the area of the Middle East.
Importantly, not Europe.
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
No, because she never left Africa. So I'm trying. That's part of the problem that I'm finding myself run into, is that because she doesn't have magical travel abilities, and at the end of Angel of Darkness, she never leaves Africa. So in order for her to get anywhere, she's basically she's either walking or riding a camel. So even if it's a zombie camel, but it's still like, so it kind of has to be in that location. That's one of the reasons why the
I'm with you
scene takes place in
on
Egypt,
the
because
mission
I'm trying
sent by the matriarch to go murder a bunch of dudes because we feel like it. Like, as long as someone else sent her on that mission, that's fine. Right? That's
right. That was what the line that Zola had at the end was. She was saying, "Oh, I hope that the matriarch accepts you as one of us."
Yeah, no, I got that. I suggested you do that last week.
Right. Again, that's why it's there. Like as I said, I wrote these pages based on your feedback. I'm trying to.
So the conversation is, there's no one in this closet. Or they make out for a bit. It's like, hold on, did you check the other room for any more people we need to murder? Like, hold on, let me go do that. Yeah, no, there's no one there. And then it's like, okay, no, but I can sense life too. Listen, our matriarch told us to kill everyone. And it's like, well, I don't want to kill this child. It reminds me of Arthur. Well, screw you. This is our mission as the Witches of Endor. And we need to do this so that way we can control all of Africa and find the rest of the Hecate stones. It's like, okay, fine, but I'm not letting you kill this kid. I will fight you over this. And then the kid runs away or whatever. And then just cut. Get out of there.
So if the kid runs away, they should stop fighting, or should
just cut away from the scene. Or whatever. Figure it out. Or again, have Zola kill the kid. And then have Jezra be like, okay, well, I'm going to act like I'm still coming along with this because I don't want to have a fight with my girlfriend right now, and sex on the corpses was pretty fun, but actually I'm not cool with this. Right? You need to express that she's not cool with it. And use the argument to bring up the matriarch and everything.
Or she, she could maybe have a crisis of conscience at some point and repent from her evil ways.
That's what this is supposed to start.
Oh. When do we see that?
That's what the flashback was for, is what he's going to say.
Oh, okay. All right.
That was the beginning. Like, this isn't supposed to happen in one scene.
Okay. All right. So she has not yet. She has not yet had her crisis of conscience.
Okay. So you mean the point at no return?
No, I mean sits and considers what am I doing with my life, and maybe I should stop.
That would not be this scene. This is the beginning of the road that she's going to go down to get there.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, since you're gonna redeem her later, you can make her evil now. There.
I disagree, and I think not killing whether or not she should kill the kid is the crisis moment. But
okay,
yeah,
I
think that's more efficient.
I will work. So I will figure out if that's
subplot quickly to get to the action team up.
So
is sort of your goal, right?
And
so this has to be your moment of okay, no, this is too much. And you just say, "Oh, we've been killing people left and right up the coast for like a month. I'm not killing this child. That's not what I signed up for. That's all it has to be."
Anyway,
Okay.
It's an interesting question. Yeah, I can see why. I think I can see that you're thinking of the sort of greater character transformation happening in like maybe in issue 3 or something, or 4 or something like that. Is it supposed to be like the climax?
No, it's going to be there. This is so it was originally, again, I added 2 issues to the story arc to cover this, because originally this wasn't going to. Well, the matriarch wasn't in the original concept for this story. She was a character that I felt would have. As I said, I'm. So, adding the matriarch is an attempt to see how she plays as a character and see whether or not, and maybe I just shouldn't even bother trying. But I had mentioned it in an earlier stream, was that I felt like Angel of Darkness didn't have a very strong villain character. And I feel like that there were some weaknesses in that story that I'm trying to fix. And the matriarch's character is the character that's supposed to do that. So that's what I'm doing with this, and that's supposed to set her on the path to somewhat of a redemption arc. But I mean, the whole story is supposed to be about Nazi zombies. I mean, that's where I'm going. And if I'm gonna do Nazi zombies, which is what the whole purpose of the story is, I need a magic person that can counter them. So that's supposed to be her, and that's, her fighting Nazi zombies is basically supposed to be, that's kind of her climax. So
she's not the one turning them into zombies.
No. The Nazis get a hold of. They use the Hecate stone, and honestly, that was one of the ideas that I had, was that eventually Jezro and Zola have a falling out, and Zola ends up joining the Nazis. Not so much joining them, but basically it's a hell hath no fury, like a woman scorned. So the idea that I was working toward was that there's a big fight, that Jezidro kills the matriarch, and that is the moment that basically pits Zola and her apart, and then Zola kind of just and the Nazis have the Hecate stone, and they as magicians can draw power from it. So basically, she agrees to join the Nazis to basically go, as put it another way. So whereas the Nazis are basically just trying to go for, world domination for the Aryan race, she basically just goes, I'm just going to basically, wipe the slate clean of all humans on Earth. So she kind of goes overboard with it. And that's one of my ideas that I'm working toward. So that's why I don't want them to necessarily be at odds now, because I want to build up to that over the next couple issues, have multiple scenes where they kind of get drawn apart. I don't want it to be like, I feel like that's the interesting part. Like too many times people have characters talk about scenes that are more interesting than the scenes that we're actually watching. So I want to actually show those scenes where they slowly start to drift apart because they have different objectives. That was part of the reason why I had Jezero having the visions, because that was supposed to be, she's having like visions from God that are like giving her counter instructions or counter things that are having conflict, where she's basically having a bit of a crisis of faith, and she's trying to figure out what, and then she kind of has that moment where like, you know what, maybe I'm not on the right side here, or like she kind of has that moment.
Are we the baddies? Sure.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Like there was, because there was a scene.
I see what you're going for, and I mean you're going to have this problem no matter what, because, and I said this last week, your main villain is Nazis, and this sounds like a really deep and interesting plot about Jezero in a book where Long Fu's invincible and punches Nazis.
Right. As I said, this all should have been
and
an Angel of Darkness,
but
that's not happening now. So, but I want to experiment with the idea, and because, as I said, potentially, if there is ever an opportunity to redo or retell in another format of Angel of Darkness, I want to experiment with this idea, because this idea really belongs in Angel of Darkness.
Well, so then you've got like a maximum of 2 or 3 plot points to put in Harpies to set it up. And
how so? It's really only just one.
No, you've got we've got this matriarch. We've got Jezero becoming a good guy and not doing whatever the matriarch wants, even though she was kind of doing her own thing before, and I don't know why she's doing what the matriarch wants at all now. That was never explained. And then we have Zola. Who the hell is she, and what's her relationship to Jezero, and what's their personal relationship and falling out? And then how does this all tie in with the Nazi plot? Is like another, that's 5. And then I think that's it. That's still quite a lot.
Well, that's why I added 2 issues to the story arc. I mean, I'll add more than that. I'm not even set on having it be 7 issues.
I mean, that's a pretty long story of any size, 7, especially for indie comics. I guess it's doable, but like it seems like real complicated when you have like so much other crazy shit you're just doing. Like, is the goal to get Jezero involved in this main story about Hecate stones?
Yes, that's it. That is, yeah. That was why in the originally she had the vision, and then she went on her vision quest and met up with Long Fu and Aaron.
I mean, can't she just be like, I feel like going on a holiday, and like I don't want to talk to these damn witches, but also I want magical powers, so I can tell these witches to fuck off. Give me a Hecate stone. Maybe she has like a fucking radar for it. Every time she summons zombies to, like, carry her across the desert, they keep going towards the pyramids, and it's really annoying. So she decides to finally go check it out, and suddenly there's a robot cat and a magic rock. Like, it can be literally that. The zombies keep like gravitating towards it. They won't stop. I don't know what's up with this. Is this where my magic power comes from? I should investigate. Like, what if she's on a zombie horse that, like, will only go towards the pyramids, and she hates it, and she's stuck on the damn thing because it's going so fast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a crazy, wild thing that would be totally incongruent with the story.
It would be totally congruent with the story. You have Long Fu, who's literally an action figure. You have a robot cat showing up.
Yeah.
You have literally a mustache twirling villain. Yeah, no, it's totally on board. Bam, another protagonist shows up. They've met Nikki. It's a conversation. It'll come up later. and then you just have Jezreel be evil by always recommending the cruel and expedient action. Like, how about I just raise the dead and kill them all? And everyone's like, no, we need to do this quietly. I can kill them quietly, and then she can just be offering those suggestions constantly, so that way you know she's kind of evil.
Okay.
Because half of your readers need to meet this character for the first time here, and the other half of your characters have already met the other half of your readers have already met the character, right?
Right. Presumably, yes.
Yeah. So, and failing that, they're going to get a random like issue 1 as a bonus for some map package you have. So, like, it's an option. Like, why can't they just be there is also a thing. Like, why can't this whole thing, like, why doesn't she, like, go in to kill people in the base, and, like, the first room she goes into, it's Aaron's, and she's like, oh, shit.
Well, why would she be there?
She's off to go kill British soldiers.
No, why would Aaron be there?
I don't know. It's where her boat landed, so she can get over without, like, letting other people know where this unit is going.
That is true. I did pick Torbuk because it's like a day's drive from Cairo. It's not that far. Now, maybe more than a day. Well, it's probably about a 12-hour drive.
Parachutes into Lydia somewhere, makes it to Torbuk, finally gets set up at the base. She's having a nice gin and tonic. She goes to bed, and there's an assassin, and oh shit, it's Nikki.
Yeah, that could work.
Damn, she's just already there. And then it's like, oh, hey, we're off to go kill some Nazis. Do you want to come with us? They didn't really like black people very much. Yeah, okay, I was here to kill you, but Nazis are really bad too, so I don't mind. How about I turn them all into horrible zombies, used to kill even more Nazis?
I mean, the Coven is basically there to remove all of the European influence from Africa. That's like their overarching goal.
Sure. And so maybe Jezreel decides the British are less of an immediate threat.
Right. Well, and she was married to one. So, I mean, like, she has a bit of a soft spot. Like, she doesn't see them as all evil as most of the Coven does.
Sure,
that was kind of the whole, that was kind of the whole point of, like, the flashback thing, was because
so then it
was a British subject that had a positive impact. According, in her words, was the first best thing that ever happened to her.
Right.
So
then, like,
her life was miserable up until she met him.
They end up in a location where, like, Zola is, and then you would have some scene with that where Zola is clearly very evil and Jezreel isn't. And then you've done the whole thing in like 2 scenes, and then you don't need to do 2 more issues.
I mean, I could have them. So I guess, okay, so I could have Zola show up as like a scorned ex-lover.
Sure, or that. Or maybe Zola has the vision and is like, oh, I need that green rock you got. Give it to me. I will fight you and your robot kitty too. Someone needs you need to lead into villains. You need to have people say what they want.
Okay.
But like, yeah, Jezreel can just be there. Like, she doesn't need to show up at the pyramid. She can just show up like doing this thing. And then, there's a whole other thing. And Aaron's like, well, I'm not letting you out of my sight. The last time I did for like 10 minutes, you raised a zombie army. And I'm not having that happen again. It was a hot mess. You're coming with us. Bam. Jezreel sidetracks. Zola has a reason to chase them down. You got a story. That's a B plot.
Okay. No, that could work. I could just, no.
And it's way more efficient. But also, like, again, the story you told wasn't bad. It just doesn't fit this other story with Nazis.
Well, that was like the 10-page horror scene that I wrote that you guys all really, really loved too. That I've presented like several months ago. That you guys all said
that because the characters had there was emotional stakes involved, and the characters have to express their emotions and said what they wanted.
And then I also killed like almost everybody in the entire story.
It was interesting because
which Preston really liked because I got to kill because he really likes it when I kill off my characters.
It's not to just kill off the characters. It was because it actually felt like it mattered, and it wasn't actually.
So something mattered, you know. Unlike these soldiers who did not matter. They did not even have they were there.
That's why I didn't give them names.
Yeah, I know. I'm well aware.
Super awkward.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to call each. I mean, I guess I could have called them like Soldier 1 and Soldier 2 in dialogue, but.
So yeah, but like just. You've only got so many pages per issue. You use as few pages on this shit as possible and just get to the fun part, which is Aaron managing a valley girl, a crazy necromancer, and a robot cat. That's your story. She's John Arbuckle.
Yes. Yeah, Erin is supposed to be the main character. She is supposed to be like the protagonist.
So, let's make it about her, and let's have Jessica show up, like ready to kill her because she doesn't even care who's there. And it's like, oh shit, it's Erin. Hey, what's up? Write that.
Okay.
And then like a page of like, hey, let's tell Erin and log through what they're doing. Then cut to there in Libya, bam, you've got a wizard. Get on with it.
Do you think it would work? Let me go. I know we've been talking about my script for like the longest time, but do you think it would work if I already have had Zola and Jezidro had the kind of breakup scene, and then I can focus more on Zola as like the scorned ex-lover who's like basically out to go scorched earth to go after her? Do you think that would work?
Zola can show up 1 or 2 issues later to cause a lot of trouble for everybody else for that reason.
You said 1 or 2 issues later, so that wouldn't be part of this scene.
No, because you've got Aaron and Jezidro getting back together. A whole big conversation about, look, I can't trust you. We have to go fight the Nazis, and explaining this whole magic rock thing. Never mind explaining the whole go to Africa thing. And then like a good splash page at the end of them traveling towards the pyramids is going to look really cool, right?
Okay.
Or a splash page of, the Nazis are already at the pyramids. Dun, dun, dun. What happens next issue? That's a good cliffhanger. But telling the reader the villains are already at the location. That's not bad.
Oh, it's all right, Erwin. Sorry for us dragging this on.
Yeah, Danny and John just went off, and here we are.
Sorry, John's been workshopping this for so long.
Yeah.
And I really would, and if I want to keep my 3 Kickstarters a year thing, I have to get this story in production within the next month or 2. So I have to make a decision.
If you want to, you can send it over to me, because I haven't seen issue 1, and I'm not sure. I don't know. I actually have like 3 of your earlier books here that I bought, but I haven't read them yet. But anyways, yeah, I think you have my email address. But I have to get going.
All right,
man. I'll be in touch.
Yeah.
With all y'all.
This is a great time to just end the stream.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's fine.
I agree.
Danny and John can just keep talking on their own time, and that would be great. So anyway,
all right.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we should. Oh wait, you know what? Next week I will be out of town.
Oh yeah, I might.
Yeah.
You have iffy availability next week and the week after.
Yeah. Okay. So, I may be able to do a group 2 weeks from. Well, I'll let everybody know.
All right.
But
sounds
thanks
good.
for tuning in, and good night.
All right. Good night, everybody.
All right.